Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Keep track of your everyday spending. Keep track of your everyday spending. See, we can talk about businesses making money and, different opportunities, different areas to jump into. But one of the things you got to do when you're dealing with money is keep track of your everyday spending. I mean, you could be making six figures and it could get out of control. Especially, I'm going to tell you what, especially when you're making more money than the average person. See, that's one thing. A smart person who's making maybe $30,000 a year. $30,000 a year, that's not a lot. But if that's all they have to live with, they're going to count every penny. Shoot, they're going to count every, because they have to, especially if they work in a regular 9 to 5 where there's not a lot of opportunities to make more money. They got to count every single penny. They're smarter. But have you noticed that you got some people who are making a lot more money? They're complaining. There's a lot of people making high 5 figures and 6 figures who still have some trouble, actually living paycheck to paycheck. Why is that? They have extra money. See, one trap that you can get caught into if you're making extra money is you're not going to think about every purchase. And when I say it's easy just to get something. Let me share this with you. Because I told you, I've been through it. My credit's been jacked up, making just enough money to make it to the next week. I remember there was a time, now here I'm somebody who promotes body gain, and I couldn't even go to the gym as much. I could drive to work and drive home because the money was that tight. I had to save it. Okay, so, of course I started doing some stuff, really started following the Financial House of Money, and I'll put a link in the description box for that. And that put my money up a whole lot higher, right? Okay, boom. I noticed something too. I was spending more money. I was going out more. In fact, anybody who's followed me, especially on my men's channel, if you look at some of the videos, I say from late 2017 through 2018, Rom wasn't like big from lifting or swole. Rom was just big because I was eating more. I was going out more. And I was like, oh, snap. And it was easy. I had the money. I mean, I ain't get in trouble, but I had the money. But that's the thing. I had to rein in on that. See, the stuff I tell you, I've gone through it. I don't want y'all to go through it. I had to rein in on it. I had to be disciplined. I had to be very disciplined in everything. And one of the best ways to be disciplined is to keep track of your everyday spending. Now, one of the things I definitely do, I always keep a payment schedule of all the bills I have to pay. So that's all right. But then it's that little bit, and it doesn't take much. You in line at the grocery store, you see some article in a magazine, you might get it, or you see some of the candies or some of the little stuff they have up there, which they put in those places to get you to spend that extra money, to get you to spend it, because they're making money off of it. Getting some, jerk sticks or something like that, some candies, even though I don't eat candy that much, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And you're just like, wait a minute, hold up. All of a sudden, it's not as much. And definitely with the money you spending on food nowadays. Like, I'm going to tell you what. Now, I'll just get because I'll do smoothies every day. And, I get the fruits, and that's expensive enough. And then some other things. I remember I got one of, how in the grocery store you got that short cart that you can just throw some stuff in? I remember one time I spent about $100, and I'm like, wait, this is only like 3 bags of stuff. So that's easy to catch you up. Here's what you do, because it's not saying that, you don't want, you still, you want to get that extra thing, and, you might be moved like that. I'm just saying, just keep track of it. Now, the best way is Now, I talked about my spending, and I actually have a payment schedule for that. Every day, and maybe even print out something. Keep track of it. Like, I keep track of it in my head. Like, okay, how much am I spending today? How much am I spending today? All right. Now, let's say just on GP for everything you have to do, lunch, gas, stuff like that, you're spending $100 a day. Yeah, it can get like that. We know with gas and, maybe you work in some place, you got to pay for parking. Like, I'll give you another story. I remember years ago, like I said, I had worked retail, but I started working retail as, just a part-time thing. But at the same time, I was working in an office in downtown Baltimore, and I was looking up. I was working full-time, and it was like one of my 1,000 jobs, market research. But I remember I was like looking at I was spending like $30 a day. That's $150 a week on gas, parking, lunch. And I was just like, wait a minute. I mean, it added up. Not literally $30, but I say, what, a 5-day week, $150 a week. I was like, what the hell? That's part of the reason I got into retail. That was damn near just gas, and not even that much gas. So that was part of that was to save money. But back to the main point, I was like, wait a minute. And it's a lot of stuff, and it can add up right away. What I strongly suggest is manage what you do. Maybe even just set a limit. Say, look, I ain't gonna go over this much. Like, you want to figure out all your bills. Okay, the bills come first. The bills come first. Like your rent or mortgage, that comes first. Car note, insurance, everything that you have to pay. Okay, that's first. Okay, you're gonna spend that much there. When you get paid, put that to the side. And of course, one of your payments should be your savings. So always pay yourself first. Very important. But all right, you got that. Okay, you got your discretionary income. Budget how you spend that a day. And like, say, let's use the 100 again. All right, so that's what, $3,000 a month. Okay, you put that to the side. Or whatever it is you spend a day. It could be less, it could be more, whatever you can afford. All right, so one day you'll spend like $79. Okay, fine. All right, you can put that 21, put that to the next day, but then the next day you spend 50. Then you put all that to the next day. And basically, by managing that and then not going over it, even if you got money from the previous day, still don't go over it. All of a sudden you look up and, like I said, like we use 30, typical 30-day month, 31 if you want to be technical for some months, but let's just say 30 days, $3,000. All right, if you keep track of it and you end up saving some money, especially when you say to yourself, okay, I don't really need this. Boom, at the end of the month, you have a lot saved. And you could throw that in with your other savings, which is something I always do because I keep track of what I spend every day. All right, I keep track of it. So the thing is, you got money, but main thing is you're disciplined because it makes you think about spending money on something. And you start thinking, wow, I really don't need this. Boom. Because it's very important, because where people get in trouble, they don't keep track. They just spend. Then at the end of the month, instead of having like a surplus after spending they budgeted for $3,000, they only spent $2,000. Instead of that $1,000 that can go into your savings, maybe if you're into stocks or whatever, or some type of business investment, instead of spending that, you actually spend $5,000. And see, that's how some people get caught up. See, it's those little things that people really get caught up. Like, and I said before, I'm seriously thinking about doing an on-demand video going from going from minimum wage to 6 figures, because it's all about money management. Seriously, and anybody can do that. It's all about money management, all about working, doing something extra, but the main thing is money management. Because I really do mean that. I've seen people, they making 6 figures. I mean, they making a whole lot and still living paycheck to paycheck. They spending money on stuff they don't really need. So keep track of it. It gives you some discipline, and then you can have an idea. And then especially it makes you think about what you're spending your money on. It makes you think before you spend. It's like, do you really need that magazine? Yeah, it's one article. Do like they do in bookstores. Sit there and read it. Do you really need that candy right there? You know, you start thinking about it. Am I going to use it? Like one thing I do, only buy food for a day. I get very little like leftovers in my fridge. And my fridge is half empty. And I tell them, and the people at the local store know it. I only spend what I need for that day. Because one of the things I've seen too, I've seen a lot of people, they'll spend a whole lot of money on food that they end up throwing out. So it's just like, wait a minute. But that's the discipline thing, just keeping track of your everyday spending, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for now. Y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.